Hello and welcome to EmpowHer, the program that celebrates the achievements and challenges of women in various fields of life. I'm your host, Nwachinemere, and today we are going to talk about women in sports in Africa, and of course we are going to use Nigeria as a case study. You know, women have long participated in sports and have constantly represented Nigeria and of course other African countries at major international events. This participation of women, however historical it may be, is marked with major accomplishments amid advances of gender inequality and empowerment of girls and women. However, women's sports in Nigeria also faces many hurdles such as poor sports facilities, discrimination, gender pay gap, lack of parental permission, and this continues to hinder the progress of women's game. Sports in Africa is largely viewed as a masculine activity. Such stereotypes make it even more difficult to encourage female involvement. But in spite of these setbacks, some Nigerian women have strived against all odds to make an impact in the female sports scene in Africa and beyond. One of such inspiration is the captain of the Nigerian national football team, a six-time African Women's Footballer of the Year winner, Asisat Oshoala, an immensely talented footballer in her own right. Now, this woman's journey to top level in football wasn't devoid of the barriers young female athletes face so often in Africa, like lack of support. But today, she is the pride of the nation and an inspiration to many young female athletes. Another example is Blessing Okabare, a track and field athlete who specializes in long jump and sprinting events. She is also an Olympic and World Championship medalist in the long jump and a world medalist in the 200 meters. She also holds the African record for the 200 meters with her run of 22.04 seconds in 2018. She is one of the most decorated athletes in Africa and has won several laureates for Nigeria at various competitions. Now, I know you've all been waiting for this. Tobi Amusan. This is a Nigerian track and field athlete who specializes in the 100 meters hurdle and also competes as a sprinter. She is the current world, Commonwealth and African champion in the 100 meters hurdle, as well as the meets record holder in those three competitions. Now, Tobi started her athletics career as a soccer player. I'm not sure you knew that, but that's where she started. But later, she switched to sprinting and hurdling. She won her first international medal in the 2014 African Youth Games in Gabon, Botswana. She became the first Nigerian athlete to win a Diamond League title in 2021, breaking the African record in the process. Now, Tobi has retained her title in 2022 and 2023. She also became the first Nigerian world champion and world record holder in an athletics event when she won the 2022 World Championships 100 meters hurdle gold medal, setting the current world record of 12.12 seconds in the semi-finals. She is one of the most successful and decorated Nigerian athletes of all time, regardless of the gender. Now, she has been honored with the Order of the Niger OON by the Nigerian government for her achievements. These are just some of the many Nigerian women who have excelled in sports and have shown that nothing is impossible for a determined woman. They have also contributed to the development and promotion of women's sports in Nigeria and, of course, Africa as a whole. Now, of course, you can always join the conversation. You can follow us on our social media platforms, all of which you can find on our website at www.spectrumtv.ng. Our Facebook, of course, is Spectrum TV Online, and our Twitter, which is now known as X, is Spectrum T Online. You can also send me a personal message anytime on Facebook, Twitter, X, and LinkedIn at Nwachinemere. Of course, you can also join the conversation using the hashtag EmpowHer. And you know how it is on this program. I always have with me wonderful guests who will be here to shed more light with me on the program. Right now, we are going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, I'll have two amazing guests with me today. Welcome back to Empower Her, the program where we celebrate the achievements of women around the world. I am your host, Nwachinemere, and today we have been talking about women in sports, and of course, we are using Nigeria as a focus. And with me today in the studio, we have an amazing woman. When I saw her, I was like, I was expecting something totally different, and I am really pleased when I saw her because she's fun. She's been joking. I've been laughing and laughing behind the stage, and that is one thing that we didn't know of athletes, that they are actually very playful. She is a national referee in judo and both football. Please join me to welcome Miss Eyere Ekuta. Hello and welcome to Empower Her.
Thank you, Beth. It's nice being here.
It's nice meeting you. Do you know that this woman is a national referee in both judo and football? You're not looking it because I was expecting this masculine looking woman.
Yeah, we do have those types in sports, but we also do have my type too. So.
Yeah, and we need to talk about this because this is a stereotype. We all when you see a woman who is looking masculine, you just assume that she's into sports. And of course, we are not alone. With us today in the studio, we have Miss Uforemem Bassi. She is a judoka. Hello, Miss Uforemem. Welcome to Empower.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. You're looking lovely.
Yeah, you too. You're looking pretty.
Did you notice how I took my time to mention your name?
A lot of people do that mistake, but I'm happy you could pronounce it.
Yes, I didn't want to mess it up.
You got the pronunciation.
And I'm so happy to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay, let's even start off. What I talked about, the fact that I was expecting to see two masculine-looking women, and instead I'm faced with this feminine-looking
lady.
Wow, you got it right. Now that's the thing. Is it really a thing like? You are a national referee, so you have seen a lot of women in sports. What is the ratio between the masculine-looking ones and the pretty lady-looking ones?
To be very honest, let's say 70-30.
Oh, 70.
More masculine and less feminine.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's normal. It's one of those stuff. Sports and extensive training actually takes a toll on your body. Okay. So now that is something that they cannot change about themselves. Now that doesn't also mean that they are different. They are still the same people that if you get to know them, they are really amazing. But some exercises, some sports, even like weightlifting, it's just like the men when they go to like build their body. They do that via exercises, and you see how their body changes. So as a woman, there are some exercises you also do that your body also changes. But to those that probably look really masculine with too much biceps and then to like unnecessary six packs, most of them actually inject some things into their body that gives them that outrageous look. But for a lady looking fit, and it also depends on how the society sees fitness. They feel that for you to be fit, it means you have to be perky, you have to be perky, you have to be this, you have to be that, and all that.
You have to be looking all soft.
Yeah, and everything. But it's also like what you give in is also what you get. So now if I go to the gym and then I carry lots of weight, there's no how my biceps won't increase. Or I do lots of leg work, there's no how those parts of my body won't increase. So as an athlete, if you see an athlete, definitely our thighs will be thicker. And if you see a weightlifter, definitely their upper body will be
muscles.
Exactly, will be more. So it's also part of what they do that actually gives them that, but that doesn't change them from who they are.
Okay, thank you for shining a light on that, because that's something I really wanted us to talk about. But now that we are already dealing on stereotypes, I think we can just push it forward more. Are there other stereotypes about women in sports that you hear which you feel this is certainly not true?
Okay, let me go
because
first.
I can think of like 4 now that I really want to talk about. Well, I would like you to go first.
Okay, we should start?
No, I would like you to go first.
Okay. Being a judoka and seeing my parents, especially my mom and my dad, in sports and judo, they usually like refer to me as husband beater. They're like, I'm going to beat my husband. So imagine growing up and then boys are kind of afraid of coming to you because they know you do one of the sports, and then they think you're going to beat them up, or because you look in this certain kind of way, so you're not feminine enough to their description or to whatever perception or whatever they want. So now it's a lot. It has it works like it actually messes with some kind of your mental health a little to some point. Now others too also like include that people that are into sports are not marriageable. in the sense that they will focus more on their sports,
On their sports,
so they will not be able to take
yes.
care of the family. They even gave my mom lots of backlashes because they thought she wasn't taking care of us properly because she was always going for competitions and everything. So for real,
My own stereotype.
yes.
Growing up, you know, in a society where you have so much female around, but they don't look masculine. But me, to some point, I was looking very masculine. I wouldn't lie. It's just as time goes, I'm adjusting. I was looking very masculine when I started doing sports. So I had friends, female friends, who don't allow you go out with them. They don't allow you wear short things to go out with them because you're like, no, you're not looking girly enough, so you can't go out with us. So yes, I had that stereotype. So
Very true.
I had to like be on my own. I had to like always be on my own because I didn't have friends that like sports. So they always like, you can't go out with us. You don't look girly enough. You can't wear short things because you're looking masculine. I couldn't wear clothes that exposes my muscle because I was looking masculine. So it was so much for me to take in. So I had to always be on my own.
Oh,
Yeah, I had to
that
always be on
can
my
be
own.
very
It happens.
depressing.
And then imagine having so many girls around or so many other people that you think you can actually relate with. And then they actually like body shame you. They're like, you're looking like a man.
Yeah, body shaming. I got it a lot. I
Yeah,
got it.
And,
But
and the
I'm
thing
used
is
to it
that a
now.
lot of times that people don't actually realize that what they are doing is body shaming and that it's affecting your mental health. Because when I just think I'm just being playful because we all know that sporting girls are tomboys, but we don't realize that what we do is that we are messing with these young ladies' mental health, and that will now cause younger ladies who would have wanted to join sports to be like,
decline.
no, I will not do it because I
That
don't want to be a
happens.
social pariah.
Yeah.
We have people that started sport with us, but along the line they
had
stopped
to
because
drop.
because they're like, no, people said I'm looking. This people say I'm looking. That they listen to people's opinion. So if you stop looking to people, if you stop listening to people's opinion, I think you just push further and they don't really matter
But
anyway.
seriously,
They
there's
don't
no
really
two
matter.
ways about it. Even women that look all girly and they feel okay because they have the butt or they have this or they have the body shape that any man would want, definitely they still hit the gym in order to cut down some things. And some of them
Exactly.
still go to the medical practitioners to get some part of their body improved.
Enhanced,
So now
yes.
if we actually look into this look at this whole scenario properly, we would actually see that the sports people that people are actually body shaming are actually the physique that people low-key want. Because one thing about sports, aside from making you look younger, also keeping you in shape and actually giving you a better life as you age, because if you're used to exercising often, when you grow older, definitely that
You will
habit
look fit.
helps you, maintain a lot, and that happens. So it's just that I think for me, when I grew up and then I realized that, though it actually made me stop competing at some point, but I actually like understood that I actually do love sport. So if I cannot like compete, I can actually do in other aspects, and that is what most people don't know. They feel that sports, being into
about
sports, you just
competition.
have to compete, and then being that they know very few sports, in which we have over 30. In Akwa Ibom alone, I think we have close to 35 different kind of sports, minus the team sports that we have, the combat sports, the racket sports. So we have so many sports that if you pick any one of them without altering your physical physique, imagine Scrabble. You're playing Scrabble or chess.
At your
How
comfort zone.
does that affect your body? So now,
At your comfort
people just
zone.
attribute sports for women as something that's going to like change them in such a way that the society will not be okay with that change, and that's so wrong.
I like how you said that you like sports, you enjoy doing sports. So now we understand your motivation for going into sports in the first place.
Yes.
But how about like what are the tough parts of being a judoka or a footballer as a woman?
Okay, the tough part of being an athlete in any sport is number one, being your own motivator. You're the only one that knows what you want. So you're the one that would wake up in the morning to fight for what you want. To feel that it's not a platform where you can be like, okay, you just wake up in the morning, okay, I'm good, I can go and do it. It's not. It has to be something that you have to train for years.
Consistency.
Yes, consistency.
And then it's a kind of silent training. Like, okay, for example, judo. You can train for 3 months. What's 3 months? 3 years and above. And then the bout is just 3 minutes.
Oh wow.
And
4
some
minutes
of them,
now.
okay, some of them even lesser. We used to have it on in 6 seconds.
That's
So depends on how much you train and how much hard work you put in. So now sports in general and athletes, what actually drives them, the bad part in people, they not having the extrinsic motivation. Because definitely you need the intrinsic one, which is your own internal motivation to do
Yeah.
so. So sometimes the equipment, the facilities, even paying your way to the training place, doing a lot of things, including feeding. Well, I don't think there's any class of people that eats more than athletes. And
Okay.
it being that sometimes you have to be on some kind of diet, not like big deal kind of diet, but you know, if you are building
to
building your
maintain a
muscle,
particular weight.
yeah,
for
to maintain
particular
either to maintain a particular weight or to build up to a particular weight, you need some kind of food to eat, healthy food for that matter, to eat in order to maintain that. And if you don't eat, how will you go to field and go and run? Before you run how many laps around the
You'll
field,
collapse.
you would faint. So those are some areas that people don't see and people don't even talk about. They don't see the hard work that most of these
Yeah.
people put
Put
in order to
in.
come out and achieve that. And even though they see the hard work, there's no support. That's also another thing, no support. And then even those that are in place to actually support them do not do that. So it's really, really tough and really heartbreaking, especially in the part of the women.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Now I like how you were talking about parts of sports that you can enter, you can venture into, even if you don't want to like be a player. Say for example football. I was watching the game on Monday, Nigeria versus England, the
Yeah.
women football. Oh my lord, those ladies played so well. Like I was just looking at them and I was imagining this much power in these tiny bodies. How
Takes
they
lots of
played
training.
they played so well for over 110 minutes, right? They played so well, and even though that Nigerian ladies lost, I'm still so proud of them for how they were able, how they held the strength, the coordination, the team playing, everything was on
Agility,
point. And
everything.
yes, ladies, I am so proud of you guys. Thank you guys, thank you ladies for making us proud. Now you said something about referee. And I'm here to you are a referee. I'm
Yes.
speaking to one. I always have this mindset that I think the referees run more than even the main players themselves because you really have to cover the whole pitch.
And you have to stay fit.
You have
as
to
a
stay
ref.
fit. So
You have to
that's
stay
not
fit.
something you wake up one day and you decide, oh, I'm going to
Exactly.
do it. So also that is where that consistency comes in. Now, since we're already now talking about football, what do you think of, how do you see the landscape of football for women in the past and compare that to what you are seeing right now?
I won't say there's much difference in the part of female. Because currently, you could actually hear the rumors backstage that our Super Falcons had to go through, starting with their payment. The last one, they were not paid. This other one, they were still not paid. And then even before they left, there was still so much controversy around the whole journey. And them having to go for camp 2 or 3 weeks before the competition. That was not like encouraging. That wasn't nice at all. So now the women, I give it to them. They are strong, they are vibrant, they are good, and then they have been able to stand the test of time. And that shows serious hard work on their own part, and that's good. And I'm sure they went through the pain of doing that. Now, their own motivation was trying to show the world and trying to show Nigeria that they have been putting in work. Because when people say female football, they're like, ah.
But the thing is that people don't actually realize that these female footballers, these Super Falcons, they've brought home more medals than the men. So why is it that they are not being given that same opportunity and recognition as the male counterpart? Now, you being a young lady that you are into sport and you can see this gender pay gap, how is it? Is it motivating you, demotivating you when you are thinking of your future in sports?
To me, I feel, yes, they don't usually see the ladies as, oh, they're not supposed to be in sports. So we are usually sidelined. They don't get to see us. So to me, I feel very discouraged. And the one that just happened recently, which I was supposed to go for a competition, but I wasn't sponsored. At some point, I thought, oh, maybe because I was not a male athlete, that's why I didn't get sponsored. But at some point, you still have to push, you still have to strive harder because you want to prove to them, you want to prove them wrong. That is, to some persons, you have to prove them wrong that, okay, as a female athlete, I still have a say, I can do this, I can do it better. I think that's why they put so much work to get it to the top, to like, okay, I have to prove these people wrong. That's why in most competitions, we end up having more medals from the female categories. We end up having more medals from
than
the
the male counterparts.
Yes, because the male feel that, oh, I'm here already, oh, this is my thing. So the ladies, we are struggling to be seen.
To break even.
Yes, we are struggling to be seen.
To get
so
that recognition.
So we have to put in more efforts than the male put in. I think that's just
And since you are not getting that recognition, that the same opportunities as the male counterparts, I think that's the part where you said that you have to look for that motivation in yourself.
Yes.
Since you are not getting it out. But it's really demotivating when you see the amount of work put in and it's not being appreciated enough. So, but what is your prediction in the future? Now, seeing, you say you've not seen much changes, but I can see that the ladies keep getting better and better. Look at Super Falcons the last time they played and compare them to how they played on Monday. You will notice that these ladies have made so much progress. That means they keep growing day after day. Now, looking at that statistics, how do you predict the future of football for women in the future?
Okay, since we're talking about football right now, let us come back to our own base, Akwa Ibom. You know, Akwa Ibom, we have the Premier League team, Akwa United. Then we have other ones. We have, in Akwa Ibom, we have like over 5 good football clubs, male-oriented. Now, the only female-oriented club that we had, Ibom Angels, they were actually relegated back. And that's because they're not fully functional to a point that they're not given the support that they need in order to grow to the point that they're supposed to be. Now imagine we have, if we had Akwa United and then we had Ibom Angels side by side, where they can get athletes from there and also train them up to other levels. I'm not saying that Akwa Ibom State is the only state lacking in that, but I can also say that there are other states that are doing very well and improving their female football. Example, Bayelsa State, Edo State, Rivers State. Now those ones, they are putting in enough work, they are putting in money, they're also putting in some underground management in order to make their female team to come up strong. So if we want the sport to move further, especially football, since that's what we're talking about, then they need to put in work, time, energy, consistency, and knowing that they are dealing with human beings and the female folks for that matter. So they need to give them, this is not the English of saying equality. This has to do with is the women. Do you know how many headaches they have to go through? Then they're coming out to actually put in their best. So they should even be given more preference in order to pamper them and give them that leveling ground so that they could work harder. Now imagine if you pay the male athletes this amount of money, example 500, 100, whatever you're paying them, and then you now come to the female background, then probably you're owing them for months,
and that's that pay gap we're talking about.
Paying them lesser. The motivation is not there. Now, how are they supposed to go back and probably train their younger ones? And then in Akwa Ibom State, or even almost everywhere in Nigeria, we have so many academies, we have so many clubs, all male-oriented. Where have you seen, okay, maybe in school, maybe sometimes in school they do the boys to play, the girls to play. But even if they say girls should play, number one, our girls will not even want to come out. That's what people would say. But if it is encouraged, if it is pushed by the school, I know you can be like, okay, I'm playing in the school. After playing in the school, are you scouted for maybe an academy in which boys, coaches go to inter-house sports to scout male footballers in order to put in the academies from a very young age? If that is done with the females, so you can actually catch them really, really young, which is the grassroots we're actually talking about. So now, if those things are put in place, outside the country, most countries, they actually start sports at a very tender age. Now in Nigeria, you might find a 16-year-old that realizes that she's very good, and then she has trained in a particular club for like 5-6 years, probably makes it to a national level. Will now have to reduce her age. The male also goes through that. Reduce their age in a way that it's not even favorable to them later in future. You know very well that you're like 27 or 29, and then you're not claiming under 18. So now, how far do you think that can? Yeah. Because by the time you'll be like, okay,
and your strength is also going down
at some point. Yeah, you might be at your peak maybe for the first 5-6 years, but there's not how you would be
can maintain that.
By the time you're supposed to,
because you can't cheat biology.
By the time you're supposed to be 25 and still be at your peak, remember, you've already reduced your age like 6 years below. So you're like 30-something. So now you still have to put in enough work. You still have to put in more energy. And then you still have to fight more for that. So if things are, sports is looked into better with more considerations, I think the future will be much better. And I'm so happy for the Super Falcons. They actually shone more light in female football.
Yeah.
So
now, as a referee, how have you seen actually the growth in both player skills, participation, recognition for women in football, even awareness?
Well, I think, thank God to the modern age and social media and other things. So yes, it's actually improving. And then being that the rules also keep improving, the rules of football and the game also keeps improving. But the best part is that the rules for male is also the same rules for the female. So in the female industry, the ladies are trying, especially.
Yeah, you know, even though we are using Nigeria as a case study, but I believe that the challenges and everything about sports here in Nigeria is reflected everywhere all over Africa. Of course, we are still continuing the conversation. We'll be right back after this short break. back to Empower Her, the program where we celebrate the achievements of women around the world. I am your host, Nwachinemere, and today we have been talking about women in sports, and of course we are using Nigeria as a focus. And with me on set, of course, we have our two beautiful ladies, and we have been talking about football and how it is affecting women. So ladies, thank you so much for all that wisdom you have been dishing out. Now, to close this segment on football, I want to ask, what are your hopes for football for women in Nigeria and, of course, in Africa as a whole?
Hopes?
Yeah.
I'm not really a football person. So.
Well, before or by the next World Cup, I would love to see new faces, younger faces, really talented faces, and then probably ladies from across Nigeria. Like, we have so many talents in different parts of the country. So imagine if different states kind of like have their representative, different cultures, they have their own representative on the field. You get, like, you know,
and of course scouting deeply to know. But then there's also these biological problems that are facing female athletes. In football, for example, there's this woman, Caster Semenya. She's a South African, but she was disqualified because they found high testosterone in her system. But she's a biological woman, but because of that, she was disqualified. Like, there are also other biological issues like this facing women. Are there others you know of, and how do you think that these should be addressed?
Well, we know that one of the things that actually affect female athletes is sometimes, you know, sport and injury become hand in hand. So sometimes while you're training, even during training, you might incur some injuries, and then some of them, they use some supplements for certain other things. So sometimes some of these things they use might also have a spike in their hormonal system, in their system, and then this can also cause a lot of things. And then also some people also inject things into their systems. So sometimes they're trying to like check why this is happening, and then they are also trying to educate those in the doping sections that some of these things can be, if you feel you are clean, that probably is your internal organ that is actually affecting. I think there was a case of a lady that actually protested, and then it took her like 3 years before she won the case of showing that our hormones were not being spiked by whatever she was taking externally, and then she was in court for like 3 years for her to prove that, and then investigations were carried out to prove that that wasn't an influence from what she took or what she took. Now, there are things in place to actually check those things, to know that yes, our body changes and some things happen, and then we are learning every day. So sometimes this might cause this and that might cause that. So it's one of those things they should check.
As a sportsman, before you take any supplements, you should probably meet a doctor to prescribe for you. Because I remember while I was in camp, my eye drop, I was asked not to use it, that it contains doping supplements, which I wasn't even aware of. So I think as a sportsman, before you take any supplement, you consult the doctor. And
you consult the doctor.
I'm a sports person, so check this out for me. Can I use it? Can I not use it?
Yeah,
so.
And the doctors also, the doctor you use should be a sports doctor that understands the doping substances that should and should not be allowed, because some doctors, some of our general doctors, they might not be aware of that. So that's another aspect that sports should also encourage people to go into medicine, but not general medicine, sports medicine. Another aspect that is really, really
underrepresented. Okay, and you know that football, of course, is not the only sporting activities that we have.
Finally.
Now let us look at judo. Now, looking back, what are some of the major obstacles that women face in pursuing judo as a sport in Nigeria and of course around the world, and how have things evolved so far?
Let's start with you.
Yes, please, let's do start with you, because not just me, a lot of people, they don't really know that judo is a thing, especially here in Nigeria.
The first thing we're suffering with is people not knowing.
Recognition, judo is a thing.
I want to get your question again.
Yes, like looking back, what are some of the major obstacles that women face when pursuing a career in sports, especially in judo? Okay. Not just in Nigeria, of course, in Africa as a whole.
Okay. You know, women participating in sports, especially judo, women participating in judo is something worth celebrating, which most time we don't get. And some of the obstacle is at times you have to reduce your weight to a particular weight, or maintain your weight to just for you to be able to fit in, for you to be able to compete. And now this has effect in your system. This actually affects your system, because there was a time I had to visit the doctor because I wasn't sure if I was okay, because, sorry, I have to bring it in, I was missing my menstrual cycle. It wasn't going well.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, it wasn't going well. So I had to visit the doctor. The doctor asked, the first thing he asked was that, are you an athlete? I'm like, yeah, I'm an athlete. Do you by any chance lose any weight? I said, yes, it's something I do. So he said, okay, that is the cause of the problem. You don't have any problem with your system. It's just because of the weight you lose. So at times, this also affects women in sports. Yes, it affects women in sports. Weight losing, you have to lose your weight. So it doesn't affect your menstrual cycle as a woman. Not like you have any problem with your system.
Yeah, she's mentioned that that she's missed her period a few times because of sports, the rigorous exercises and all. Have you also experienced the same thing? How does it feel like? Like, have you ever missed your period, or maybe you've had like it coming and coming and coming and not going away because
yeah, the prolonged one is actually the heartbreaking one. You know, you can miss your period and then you know you're fine and you're like, huh, okay. At the point, I used to be like, when I miss my period for like 2 months, 3 months, I'm like, oh,
you miss your period for 3 months?
I have missed for 4 months.
What does it feel like to be God's favorite?
But when it's coming, it doesn't come like snow. It comes with
heavy. It
will come with the intention of being like, you missed me?
I'm here.
So yeah, I've also had like prolonged period. You know, when they teach you in school about menstruation and how it will change your body and what might happen, they don't really tell you how some certain environmental factors and things that you do. You know, even heartbreak, little than as heartbreak, can actually make your period.
The stress of it.
Now, traveling can also have an effect on your. So imagine you have to like train every morning and evening. Your body is really under a lot of stress. That is one thing, but it's training, but it's under stress. Training is you going through a particular kind of stress for your body to be used to it. So which is why when you train to a particular level, you'll be so comfortable. So for you to excel, you have to improve, like you have to train further. So that can also make your period to be shaky.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens.
But it can't always all be bad. Now, can you highlight some of the positive changes that you've witnessed in women's participation in judo in recent years?
The ability for you to explore the world.
Oh.
I mean, you have the chances of traveling to places, meeting new people, and getting exposed. Most importantly, self-defense. Women who participate in judo have high level of self-defense. They feel that nobody can just walk up to me and do anything to me. I mean, I have the skill, I have the basic skills. I have the basic skills to defend myself. So that, I think that's a top one for women who participate in judo. That's a high one for. That's a good one.
Because that's one thing that the moment I heard judo, that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Self-defense.
This lady you can't mess with her.
Self-defense. You can't actually mess with anybody that participates in judo. And secondly, we don't really get sponsors. My problem is sponsors in Nigeria as a whole. We have problem of sponsors because you are good at this thing. You know that, okay, I am prepared. But at the end of the day, you end up not having sponsors. I'm supposed to be at China with Enko Ekuta. She's currently in China for a competition. But you don't have sponsors, so you're just there. But at the same time, you can't give up because you know what you're achieving. So now the question is, can't we as judokas, as sports women, make judo or make sports a career that, okay, we know that we are doing this thing. Can't we get this
sponsorship, the encouragement, the recognition that you deserve? Because honestly, when you look at it this way, you know how much work you have to put in, both mentally, physically, guys. You know the amount of work you have to put in, and seeing that you're not being recognized, you're not being appreciated, you're not even earning enough from it.
As a woman, as a lady, you know most of your friends will be out partying, clubbing, and you are the gym.
You can't afford to do that.
You are in the gym. You are always
want to take care of your health.
Exactly, you're always training, so you want a reward for what you do. I think everybody wants reward for what they do. So it is high time people get sponsored for women in sport. It's high time people pamper women in sport and make us seen and make us feel like, okay, we deserve this thing.
Yeah.
So,
But now we're talking about the positive aspect of it, right? It can't all be bad, because there are ladies out there who are looking and they're like, I know I can do this, but with all this I'm hearing, I'm not even going to try it though.
Yeah,
Let me do my lane. But what,
that's another aspect.
so far, what has been the reward for you?
for me, I have been seeing the whole like I said before, self-defense. I know that I can stand up for myself even when I don't have male people around. I can stand up for myself. And secondly, the whole I have put myself through school with sports, with
Sports
the little
money.
Yes, with sport money.
That's amazing.
I've put myself through school with the help of my parents, though. I can't take it from them. With the help of my parents and my coaches. Then we have other positive aspects of you traveling around the world, getting to meet new people, getting to meet new things with sports. Because where would I be going to if not sports? Where will I be traveling to?
There's one aspect I've been waiting for you to talk about, which you have thoroughly neglected. How about the physique? Because you are building your body, you're taking care of yourself. How about the physique? I've been waiting for you to talk about that.
Who knows how I would have been by now? Maybe very chubby. But yeah,
I don't collect basketballs now.
well, let's not restrict that to that. We still have people that are chubby and very good looking as you,
and they're
in
still
sports.
doing
Yeah,
sports.
because we still have field event competitors. They're not really slim like us. You know, you need the muscles, you need that weight in order to either throw, the discus, the hammer, or what, even the javelin. We still have people, even men and women.
Even in judo, we have heavyweight fighters. We have
so
heavyweights.
it's not, sport doesn't like restrict a particular kind of physique. Now, how you know that you are fit, even when you are slim or you are, you know, my size, it doesn't really count on your body size or anything, because someone that is actually chubby might be able to run even to a longer distance than I can. So people's body type is actually different. Now, according to the positive aspects in sport that people don't really see that much, I'm going to give you a long list of stuff.
Please do.
So you can make a career from sports, aside being an athlete, aside even being a referee, aside even being seen. There are so many administrative aspects of sport that people don't see. That was why I studied physical education in school, because my aim, by God's grace, is to go deep down into the administrative, the inner part of sport that people are not really aware of. So there are so many aspects of sports that people don't know of, and then you can make good career from it. Like careers that you can fetch yourself really good amount of money. So we could see careers like journalism. You could see like sports management, team management. There are tons of it. Physiotherapy. You could even go into exercise physiology. So now there are so many ways in which you can actually be part of sports. And then with the modern age where tech is actually overshadowing almost everything. So if you are into tech or anything, coming into sports is actually a good way. Example, football. We now have the VAR. You know that before the goal line technology is placed, before the video technology things are also put into place, you need some technical hands in order for that to work. So we also need the VA, the referee, the assistant, which is the video assistant referee, that would also be there to assist when the match is going on. So there's so many things in which you can do
that can be explored in sports, and that is amazing.
And yeah, sorry.
Okay, now looking ahead, how do you envision the role of women in judo expanding, and especially what are the breakthroughs, what are the potential breakthroughs that you foresee in judo?
Well, I feel judo has actually evolved from how it was before. We have a new president that is trying to make Nigeria go for more competitions. They are also organizing more competitions nationally so that we could actually pick out the young ones. There's actually this competition that's coming up by September, the National Youth Games. The National Youth Games are for athletes below 15 years old across all the sports, from football down to chess, Scrabble, Ayo, Kokowa, traditional sports, racket sports, team sports, that will be covered within 10 days. So now that competition is actually where people and other scouters, sports scouts, go to actually scout out athletes for different kinds. We have so many athletes that have been brought up from that. Even Imabong.
I'm here. Don't go far.
She was also
I'm
scouted. She started when she was really, really young, like very little, where she went for tons of national sports, like national youth games, and other ones, even those that are not in the country right now. So yes, you can be given scholarship outside the country just because
like
you're into sports. And there are so many. I mean, part of the positive part in sports, you can make money through sports. People that are really, really into sports, we usually say that sports money is like blood money. It's one of the ways that you can make money and then you would enjoy the money. You make money, you also travel. As long as you have gotten your A game in, you know how to work and maneuver it, you can get it. You can actually get jobs. You can get recognitions. You can get lots of things in sport. And sport is like a society where almost everyone in your niche would actually like hate you and love you at the same time. Because you will always get to work with them, you always get to be with them, so you'll just have to adjust. So now I think judo and sports in general is growing, and then we're also trying to adapt to these new rules from our national bodies and international bodies. So we are coming up very soon, and in future we'll be having more stars.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm so excited to be here for all of this. Now, while all this is well and good, I would have loved us to talk about basketball, javelin, all of those things, but we don't have enough time today, so we can do that some other time. But parting, there is this part of sporting, women in sports, that I know that a lot of people really want us to talk about, the sexual harassment thingy. What do you have to say about that? Just in a minute, so we can round up.
Well, sexual harassment is something that is everywhere, but yes, it's also in sports. It's something that there are rules put in place in order for that to work.
To curb
that. And then so the female gets harassed, the male to get harassed. And then sometimes it's done in a way that they would make you feel like they are helping you in order for you to accept to what they want to do. So it's one of the things that women, I'm sure there are so many bodies, because we have the women in sports body organizations. There are so many organizations out there that actually help women that come up with complaints like this to actually like fix it up and everything. But sometimes they're always scared, because when you come and report your coach, who again is going to coach you?
Yeah.
So referees and stuff like that. But it's something that.
But it is important. Yeah. It's important that we speak up.
Yeah.
Because if you let this person harass you, he's going to harass the next girl, and you don't want that. You want to break that circle.
You don't want to be the one reporting. You don't want to be the one team.
Okay,
but let the next victim be the one to report.
But we have to. It is important.
People are coming up that and there are bodies in place to help. When you speak up, they protect your rights and help you work.
Thank you so much, ladies, for having you. It's been wonderful having this conversation with you. To round up, there is a girl out there who wants to go into sports. In 30 seconds, what's your parting word for her?
Pursue your dreams. Go for it, because you will enjoy it at the end.
You will enjoy it at the end. How about you?
For me, have fun. Work hard and have fun, because time flies.
Time flies. And of course, this is where we draw the curtain today on EmpowHer. I hope you have learned a lot. I hope you have been inspired. I have been. In fact, I have learned that there are certain sports I can do, even though I feel I'm not all that physically active. I know that I have learned that there are some certain sports that I can do, and I'm sure you have learned 1 or 2 or 10. Who knows? Thank you for being with us. You are the reason why we are doing EmpowHer. And until the next time we see you here on the program, I hope you stay fit, stay empowered, and drink lots of water. Take care, guys.
Thank you.